Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here with an awesome card for the Not Too Shabby design team featuring Winter Friends mini stamp set and Winter Sentiments mini stamp set. It's part of the mini release from Not Too Shabby. And at Not Too Shabby, you can earn these two mini stamp sets or mini release sets for free. If you have a purchase of $60 or more, the Winter Sentiments stamp set will be free. If you have a purchase of $100 or more, you will have also the Winter Friends set. So two will go in your cart when you reach the $100 mark. Um, I would encourage you to check out the shop. There's a lot of great items there. It probably wouldn't take you long to get to the $60 level. And there's also free shipping when you get to $60. So please check it out. They offer not only their own line of stamps, like this mini release for the winter, but also stamps from very well known stamp companies. Okay, let's get started. For my card today, I have a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to be using Distress Oxide inks to ink blend a background. Here I'm showing you a close-up of those cute stamp sets with the adorable little bunny who has like a heart or a cup that could be holding an adorable fox, some awesome sentiments, and some cute trees, some cute snowflakes, a little dot which could be used for snow. So what a versatile set and just in time for the holidays. All right. I'm sorry that my camera angle is so strange today. I am using my camera to do my recording, and for some reason, I'm having a hard time getting that angle straight. So, thanks for bearing with me as I work on that in the future. I'm starting with picked raspberry distress oxide, and I'm using my blending brushes that I picked up from Amazon. What I love about distress oxides is their ability to blend so smoothly. This is carved pumpkin, which is a nice orange color. Later, I go in with an actually a brighter orange color called ripe persimmon, but at this point, I'm not realizing that I need a brighter orange. I also am going to use the yellow, which is mustard seed originally, but then I grabbed my squeezed lemonade and put some of that on, just trying to brighten it up a little bit. But you don't have to do that. You can just stick with the colors that you have. I just felt like it just needed to be a little bit brighter. So I changed inks, but really you're still blending inks. And so it's just two more inks that I added to the equation. So I have a little piece of graph paper that I laminated that I'm using to ink blend on. This helps keep the ink from staining my mat. Okay, there's that ripe persimmon, as I said. The ink blending brushes can be cleaned on a microfiber towel or a piece of scrap paper in between. And so you can have one brush for each color family. Makes it convenient. And then I grabbed the picked raspberry and blending that with the ripe persimmon. And then I grabbed the squeezed lemonade. So you can see that here. I forgot to clean my blending brush, so it still has quite a bit of the mustard seed on it. So I grabbed a piece of scrap paper just to keep my fingers from contaminating the surface. And for all the work I did blending this background, you really can't see the yellow anyways in the finished product. So that was a little boo-boo on my part, but it sure does look pretty, doesn't it? And it's trying to mimic a sunset. So that's kind of the setting that I'm going for here. I brought in some glimmer paper. It's like a glitter paper, but it's not rough. It's nice and smooth. I call it glimmer paper. It's from a big pack that I picked up at Michael's. but it's white, and this is going to be my snowbank. So I grab speckled egg, distress oxide, and I'm just adding it to the top of that snowbank so that it has the look of snow and not stark white. You'll see that I reapply it several times during this section because I kept touching it, and every time I would touch it, my fingers would wipe the ink off because it's such a smooth paper that the friction of my fingers touching it would wipe it off. So you'll see me grabbing that blending tool again here. I'm going to trim this snowbank down. This is going to be my top snowbank that has the curve on it. And then I'm going to have two more layers for the middle snowbank and the bottom snowbank. But at first, I only think I need two, but you'll see in a little bit that I actually need three. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want to line that up. Oh, looks like I'm going to do a little bit more ink blending with that squeezed lemonade because I just couldn't leave well enough alone. But in seriousness, you really can't see the yellow anyways at the end of the day because I have such a like a high snowbank in the profile. But it does blend a little bit and it does show a little bit. But you'll see at the end product. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our, all right, I'm blending again. Got to get that smooth look. Um, okay, let's go ahead and mark off the edges where we want to trim this. And I'm just using a marker, which I probably should have used a pencil because the marker kind of left a little bit of blue ink behind, which I ended up ink blending with the um, speckled egg, but it's all right. Doesn't matter. You can't tell at the end. And I'm using my guillotine trimmer from Tonic. It's perfect for these kind of projects. And I'm going to use some wet glue to adhere this to the panel. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want everything, adding a little bit more speckled egg because as I said, with my fingers, the friction of me holding it is rubbing the ink off. Okay, we've got some art glitter glue that I'm applying, just figuring out where I want my snowbank to be positioned. And it's going to be layered with a second layer. And more speckled egg. Just to make sure it has that blue tint. I'm going to trim the edge off of this because I had a little bit hanging over. And we're ready to move on to the next section. Okay, so this might be a mini stamp set, but it has a whole lot to offer. The adorable fox, the adorable bunny, I cut them with my Brother Scan and Cut using the glimmer paper. That's why they're so sparkly. I cut some trees out and I used VersaFine Clair inks to make those trees green and brown. These are some birch trees from my stash that I have, a stamp set that is like a layering stamp set that I purchased from Kitchen Sink Stamps that um, gives a nice, I think, frame for this card. But look at me. I'm trying to decide where to put everything, trying to figure out where I should layer things. So even though it's a tiny stamp set, not tiny, but mini, it does have a lot to offer. I was pleasantly like surprised, but also at the same time a little bit frustrated because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with the card. So I thought I'd leave a little bit of this in so you can see me sort of messing around trying to figure out what to put where and what to layer where and how I wanted to juxtapose all of the images together. And in the end, I end up just using the fox. I do not use the bunny. I save that for my next card. So my next card will come out in the middle, at the end of November, around Thanksgiving. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can see what I use and how I create another card with the little bunny rabbit. But this is going to be my card with the fox. So I have some Brilliance ink. It's a white pigment ink. And I'm using that to stamp a bunch of snowflakes. This is going to be sort of my background. So there's really no rhyme or reason. I'm just turning them one way, turning them another, getting this nice background that I ink blended to have some really nice snowflakes. And this ink works pretty well. I don't have that many white inks, so basically use what you have, but it's a pigment ink. It works well with the distress oxides, and I can tell you I'm sitting here looking at the card right now, and you can clearly see the snowflakes, with your eyes. It's not as if they disappear once the ink dries. So, good to know. All right, I'm a little bit off camera here. Hopefully, I'll get it together and get in screen. Okay, I'm going to color the fox, and the Ohuhu markers color over this shimmer paper without a problem. This is orange number 22, which I'm going to make my fox orange and white. So his body will be orange, the tip of his tail will be white, the mask of his face will be white, his little paws will be white, and parts of his little hat will be white too. So as I'm using my Ohuhu markers, I'm grabbing pink. I think it's pink 6. Yep, and I'm doing the ears pink, but I'm also going over the ears with orange, so the pink is in the middle. Just like an animal would have, inside their ears like a pink. Um, I'm going to grab a blue. I'm trying to figure out, like, I want a greenish blue. I'm trying to figure out what's the best color. This is not the best color. It's a little bit too light. So I go with the next color, and that one is a winner. I love this color. I think it looks great. And in the end, I think it looks awesome on my card. I'm sorry I didn't have the color of the teal facing the camera when I was doing the coloring, so I didn't catch that one. But I'm using warm gray 1 to color in his nose, but then I figure that's not really dark enough, so I go in with 120, which is black, and make his nose black. Going back in with orange 22 and coloring his body, his hind legs, and leaving his paws like white, like he has little boots. As I said, these Ohuhu markers are fantastic alcohol markers, and they're doing a great job coloring over that shimmer paper, which is sort of like a glitter paper, but real smooth and silky to the touch. And it's part of a big pad of paper that I picked up at Michael's. It's sort of like that no shed. All right, so trying to figure out which sentiment to use. I've got my card laid out here, and it was a tough choice, but in the end, I picked warm winter wishes. Before I emboss my sentiment, oh, and by the way, my camera's at a much better angle now, finally. I'm adding another strip of this white glimmer paper for my snowbank because I want to make sure the trees have grounding. I also use these dies from Elizabeth Craft, and I use the largest rectangle die, which has a nice notching in the corners, but I use that as my background panel because I just felt that this card needed to be framed. I just felt that putting it on an A2 card base at this point was okay, but I wanted to take it up a notch. So let's go ahead and work on our sentiment. Using my anti-static powder bag, I am applying it to this cream colored cardstock that matches the background panel of my card. I'm using Versamark ink and inking up that sentiment so that it's nice and sticky, pressing down onto the vanilla, basically off-white cardstock, and then doing it again. I always like to do it twice. I've got this Wow embossing powder in metallic green, and I'm going to use that to emboss my sentiment, which it's really a nice green for the holidays, you guys. If you don't have this color, boy, is it awesome. It matches the trees that I colored, and it just goes so well with this card. I love the way this card came together. If you're new to my channel, or you are not currently a subscriber, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. What do you think about this card? Do you think this fox is adorable? I am in the process right now of just lining everything up. I grabbed another piece of the white glimmer paper and made an additional snowbank that I could tuck my birch trees right behind that snowbank. Otherwise, they would not be grounded to the bottom of the card because they aren't as tall as the actual card. But they're awesome. They look so real, don't they? Now I am just gluing the trees down, and the trees are from the Winter Sentiments set. And I have 3 trees. They always say to do things in odd numbers. So instead of having 4 or 6, I only have 3 in the background here. Here I go with that speckled egg again, and I'm just going to make my snowbank to be tinted at the top with speckled egg to match the other snowbanks. Gluing this down and tucking it, basically tucking those birch trees right behind there. So that looks really great, I think. And a little more speckled egg. I've got to get my fox glued down to my panel. And then I have to work on my sentiment and trying to figure out where I want to place that. Putting a block on my glued pieces so that they stick. What I decide with the sentiment is to grab a piece of green cardstock and make a background. Okay, now the card is almost finished. I'm going to glue this background green, which I think matches the trees very well. And then the sentiment, which is on that off-white color cardstock, right on top of the green. And then I have that die cut panel that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to glue the card panel onto that die cut cardstock, and I think it frames it really nice. I'm going to put a block on top just to weigh things down so everything sticks. So here's our finished card. You can see that I backed it on a piece of green card base. This is about a 5x7 card, so it's a little bit bigger than my normal cards. I added a snowflake at the bottom with a green rhinestone gem in the middle. Thanks so much for watching today. Don't forget to check out Not Too Shabby Shop for more information. And also, there's a coupon code below in my description box for 10% off your order. Thanks everyone. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.